Welcome back to Court TV Live. I'm Julia Janae. Thank you for being with us as we track this trial. Many trials happening across the country. This one that we're focused on, though, is our big story in Nashville, Tennessee. Closing arguments underway in the poison Playbook murder trial for Blaze Taylor. In real time, this case is in the hands of the jury. You see the verdict clock on your screen. 17 minutes they've been going at it so far. But we are currently getting you caught up on closings. We've been pausing it during the commercial break, so we're a little bit behind. The former NFL Scout is on trial. He's accused of killing a woman that he was seeing and her unborn daughter by spiking her pink lemonade with a lethal dose of cocaine. That's the prosecution's allegation, and they outlined that for this jury, the first ones to go, highlighting the words of the victim's best friend.
She made sure that you heard her last words. She called Nigella Jackson and said, "Blaze, you're scaring me." Nigella heard him say, "You're scaring me. I know you put something in my drink. I knew my drink tasted funny. Let me see what's in your pocket. Let me see. I know you put something in my drink because I can't even walk straight. I can't feel my legs. You put something in my drink. You did this so something would happen to the baby." I think I'm about to pass out. Jay Benning ensured that you heard her words that night.
That was prosecutor Jan Norman there in Nashville. And now we're listening to the defense attorney, Letitia Quinones-Hollins. She is telling this jury that Blaze didn't have enough time to have planned out an elaborate murder, that this was a spontaneous date night that he had with his girlfriend, and that he invited her friends to stay the night. But that doesn't sound like the actions of someone who planned to murder. Let's go back in, picking it up where we left off with the defense's closing argument to the jury.
And then you had the only other eyewitness, the only other person in that house. He should be just as important as Nigella.
All right, Ms. Hollins, you need to be wrapping up your argument.
And Detective Reese, yes, sir. Detective Reese said, "I like to bring people in to talk." But I didn't bother to have Keontae came down. I just called him on the phone. And Keontae wouldn't tell you the truth about his theft conviction. And he told you, because he didn't talk to anybody there that night, even though he went there. Why not? He said they didn't have security. There it is right there. Why didn't he talk? I don't have a lot of time left, so I'm going to go through it quickly.
You don't have any time left.
May I have 5 minutes? Yes, sir.
You got it. 1 minute.
I've given you the investigation. That's the towel he took. I got 60 seconds. I'm going to do my best. That's the towel he took. That's where he got it from. If he was cleaning up, he would have fixed those towels, but he didn't. That's the surveillance video. That's that missing cup. It was sitting there the entire time. No one in, no one out. That's the V8 bottle. It wasn't in there. You see the lemonade, you don't see the V8. And on those other pictures, you don't see it either. So, that's the communication log. Cocaethylene is in the system. You're going to have the reports. It's there, and it was there in the vomit. And all of these doctors told you that. And the autopsy report at the end of the day, don't forget what I've shared with you. At the end of the day, even the medical examiner can't come to a conclusion. And with all these surrounding circumstances, how can you? Now, I told you that when you get back there, you're going to be tired and it's going to be long. And you promised me that you would not let anyone change your convictions of what you believe, no matter how long it takes. Because you said if they can't make a decision in the most important affairs of your life, that you wouldn't let them do it for Blaze. I thank you so much for your patience and for being here. And the Taylor family does as well. I won't get back up here and make another argument because we don't have the burden, they do. So when you get back there, you make the argument for me. Thank you.
And that wraps up the defense's closing argument in front of the jury. Let's bring in our guest to talk about this case. Law enforcement and litigation expert Sonny Slaughter is with us. Sonny, Letitia Quinones-Hollins had to rush there through a lot of slides that she meant to get through in her closing argument, but she told the judge yesterday she needed an hour. I was curious as to whether she would be able to get through it in an hour because her opening was pretty long and detailed.
You know, I was thinking about that, and initially I was like, oh my God, did the judge cut her off? But when you give the judge a parameter and those parameters are set, you really have to stay within those. So she had to rush because she didn't time herself correctly. And the judge wants to get this done. He wanted to get it in. We are currently, in verdict watch. So you have to. And I've done it too, because, and Julia, you've done it too. You're a presenter, we're speakers, and sometimes we think we have it and we actually don't, and then we got to rush. And I know I've had to rush too many times, and I don't like it because you always want to get it all in. So
certainly,
I think she did what she needed to do.
And there are things you can appreciate about her style, that she is very much connected to the jury when she's talking to them. She's really not just focused on notes and bullet points. She's communicating with them, I think, in a way that oftentimes you have to throw out the script if you are focused on how they're reacting. Does it look like you're capturing their attention? And I wonder what these jurors look like while she was explaining some of those things, especially when she asked them really to put themselves in the shoes of these players and say, if he's a murderer, would he have acted this way? Did that stand out for you?
Yes, it really does. And I don't want people to think that I'm blaming the victim, because that is absolutely not my intent. I'm not even saying that he is not guilty because there's no probability. But what I'm saying is that we really have to focus on the evidence and facts in the case that the prosecution has brought to bear. And what does that really look like? We have to question everything, whether it's the prosecution, what they're bringing, and the defense, what they're trying to defend. As the 13th juror, we have to ask questions that are sometimes hard questions. And I think we've done that in this case, and we will just see what happens. I want to know what the jury is what they're thinking, what they're feeling. I would like to have a conversation for the first time ever with this particular juror.
24 minutes, they've been at it in real time, but we're going back in because you heard the defense bring up all of these things that were missed by the investigation. The drug dealer of the victims that was not contacted, the food that wasn't tested, a cup that was left inside of that apartment. How's the prosecution going to handle that on rebuttal? Let's go back in.
Rebuttal argument on behalf of the state.
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Hollins went back and forth between whether or not Blaze Taylor even thought he was the father of this child. She said that Nigella Jackson said she wasn't sure. You heard the testimony. I submit to you that Nigella said she was sure, it's just he wasn't involved. And she was saying that at the hospital because he was telling the people at the hospital that he loved Jade more than her. And that was not true. That's what she testified to about whether or not he was the father. She told all of the officers, he's just the father. He's not involved. But Ms. Hollins argued to you that he wasn't the father, but then she also wants you to consider a text message where Jade is telling her mom that he signed up for a diaper service. You can't have it both ways. Also, Blaze Taylor told people he was the father of her baby. He told Keontae, Nigella, the people at Vanderbilt. He told the police officers. Now, when he calls 911, he's with a friend. But when the police come, that is his girlfriend. He is absolutely committed. And the text messages with Xavier Winford absolutely were not submitted for any purpose of saying somehow Mr. Taylor was a bad person because he was seeing more than one woman. It was for that very purpose. He had someone that he loved, that he was telling, I love you. But also the rest of that thread is that something's happening, but everything's going to work out for them. But it's very much against what he told the police, that Jade Benning was his girlfriend. His interactions with her, it wasn't I love yous. She also wasn't going to admit he's the father of the child, but yet wants to say that they picked out the baby's name together. Well, Nigella Jackson testified about that, and she was very specific that that was a name that Jade suggested, and he agreed. He didn't disagree with it. But you also heard testimony that Jade's unborn baby girl's name is Ivy. She, just to clarify, I don't know where the Lauren Weber Mario connection came from. I submit to you that the evidence that you heard was that Mario texted Jade. Jade texted Danny. Danny wasn't in town. No one met up. Lauren Weber was not involved in that. Lauren Weber went to the apartment, and her testimony was that it seemed too clean. And she told the officers that. That was the first thing she said to them. She went in, and it was so weird to her that she took 2 pictures and she walked the apartment. I submit whatever happened within the police department for officers to not go there that night and seize that scene, absolutely. That is a mistake. That should have happened, and it did not happen. But it doesn't change anything. Thank God.
I've had the opportunity to be inside of the courtroom when Prosecutor Jan Norman was delivering openings and closings back at the Michael Mosley case, the bar fight, brawl, fatal bar fight. And one thing that stands out about her is she is able to bring some really compelling emotion to her statements and her arguments. Then sometimes some prosecutors who keep things very stoic. We'll continue to watch it on the other side of this break, the rebuttal argument of the prosecution, while that jury in real time, half an hour they have been at it. What will they decide? We will continue to watch together.